Well, a lot of problems to overcome here for some of those drivers. Tough that Miss Hampton, Kellyanne Hampton, will not be out there in that green vintage class Dodge Challenger. She, of course, former winner here in the vintage division. But looking at the qualifying race from yesterday that did set the grid for the final here coming up here, we're less than 5 minutes away. Ken Staples, quick lap there. He was about 5 seconds ahead of Jack Zeroni, and those will be the two cars sitting on the front row. But right behind him, when you look at the likes of Dennis Bainbridge in that Fast Gas Plus Fusion, he will start back there in 6th. That car potentially can run lap times as quick, if not quicker, than Ken Staples. Dennis Gorak in the Corvette, and Conroy Ganson starting a little bit further back, but as you said, he was quickest this morning in the practice session, 1:24.761. So he could be one of the drivers to watch here, and he's not in GTP 1, he's in GTP 2. The other driver we want to talk about has been one of the crowd favorites here over the years in our GT Invitational, and that is Bill O'Kell. He was 15th fastest in the practice session this morning, and I think picked up about 3 seconds from where he was running in the qualifying race. He did 1:32.819, so look for him to move up. Started the weekend in GTP 4. He's just too fast. They moved him up to GTP 3. As up on the big screen, we see the cars rolling here on the pace lap behind that Porsche 911 that's being driven by Paul Conquest, the owner and president of Eurasia Automotive. And of course, we welcome all of the many customers of Eurasia Automotive who are here today to watch this event. And what a combination of different cars. You'll see some pretty big speed differentials between, say, a GTP 1 class car and a GTP 4.
And then, of course, we also have the vintage, and they could be anywhere in there. That there's a Corvette out there that's in vintage, so it's probably faster than some of the others. These people want to win their class. They would really like to win that big Eurasia Cup overall, but they will be happy just to win their class.
Looking at some of the crowd here up on the big screen, enjoying the beautiful weather here at the City Center Airport. We're about to launch the first of our 4 big events here on the weekend. That's it. Give us a big wave up there on the big screen, as we've got 3 events to go tomorrow. But this is our one final race today. There's some of the fans up in our hospitality suites enjoying some great food and beverages. Welcome to the Honda Indy Edmonton, ladies and gentlemen. Pat Gonzalez, David Fowler, who's been a fixture with the Northern Alberta Sports Car Club, I think from year 2 of that organization. And David, we were talking a little bit earlier, this is really the highlight of the racing season for just about all of these drivers.
Definitely is. It's the biggest race for sure in Alberta, the biggest crowd they're going to appear against. In Calgary, they don't get that many at Race City Speedway, and unfortunately for our other races in Edmonton, we are at CFB Edmonton, and everybody has to have a security clearance before they go in there, so it's a little bit difficult to get in there.
So the field works its way out of that final turn on the start-finish straightaway. Still behind the Porsche 911 pace car. Paul Conquest at the controls. Of course, Paul very much involved with the Northern Alberta Sports Car Club Racing. This is the 2nd year that they have sponsored the event. They put together a beautiful full-color poster that I think they've been giving out down there at the Northern Alberta Sports Car Club paddock. But he is very much involved. Interesting, one of the things he's been doing is this Arrive and Drive program. You can get more information at arriveanddrive.ca, where they'll ship your car to some of the great racetracks in North America, like Laguna Seca and Infineon Raceway in California. You just fly in there and you get to drive your race car on tracks such as Laguna Seca and some of the other great racing facilities. As the field works its way off of turn 7, there you see the number 19 car of Ken Staples. Right alongside will be the 15,
Jack Zeroni.
Jack Zeroni. And then behind that pair we're going to have quite a scramble for the rest of the positions in the top 10. We'll try to keep this one all sorted out for you, not only in terms of where a driver may be running overall, but where they are running in their particular class. There's the Ford. That's the other Hampton car there, the number 48.
Yeah, that's the husband of the lady that broke her car.
That's Larry Hampton, yep, out of Calgary. But so one of the Hamptons gets to race. The other gets to either pit crew or watch the race here this afternoon. I'm sure Kellyanne would much rather be out there in that number 77 car as the field swings its way back around. And next time by, I believe they'll be looking for the green flag.
Yeah, we're looking at the starter. He has control of the race right now. He's holding the yellow flag. This means that you can't do anything. The race hasn't started. He'll be watching now down the track, making sure these cars are getting in lines of 2 and close together. From up here, it looks like they are getting fairly well organized there, and that's what we want.
Porsche pace car pulls onto pit road. Paul Conquest brings the Porsche onto pit road. It's now up to Ken Staples, who is on the pole there to slow the field down as they come on. A couple of drivers out of position, but the green does come out. We are racing in the Eurasia Cup GT Invitational at Edmonton into turn number 1. Staples on the inside will grab the lead in car number 19 after winning the qualifying race yesterday. Jack Zeroni takes a look on the inside into turn 2. Can't make the pass. So it is Staples in that big Chevrolet running out in front. Zeroni in the number 15 RX-7. That's a GTP 1 class car running in the number 2 spot.
Yeah, Ken Staples, a longtime racer from Lac La Biche, runs a huge Canadian Ice Race Championship Series in Lac La Biche every year. He's very cunning in a race car. So not only you got to catch him, but then you have to get by. And if these are the same class, looks like we got somebody moving to the side there a bit. No.
That was the 15 car there of Jack Zeroni, trying to pull up alongside, make the pass into turn 10. Staples was able to hold him off. Here's the run down into turn 11, and again, Ken Staples will shut the door, but Zeroni in that RX-7 Mazda, Jack Zeroni, car number 15, continues to put the pressure on. New third place runner as they come by here to complete lap number 1. This one under a 1 hour time limit, so we'll be racing right up until 1:30. But it is Ken Staples who will lead this opening lap of the Eurasia Cup GT Invitational. Car number 89 has moved up into that third place position, and that is the Spencer machine. Peter Spencer, 89 out of Edmonton, in the Porsche, is running in third, but Staples, the pole sitter, continues to lead here on lap number 2.
Yeah, and Walter Bowman has moved up into 4th spot, so he's moving ahead. So a lot of changes going on up there. Conor Hansen, who set the quickest lap this morning in practice, he's in 6th spot, early, 1:29.932 that lap. But again, these people are having to pass slower cars. You're now in traffic. Ken Staples has got it really made until he catches up to the slower cars.
Side-by-side battle into turn number 10. Zeroni was right alongside, but Staples a little bit later to the brakes. Now he'll swing wide, and here comes Zeroni. He'll try to make the pass on the outside. Voter Bowman in car number 22 is also right there. It's a 3-way battle up front. Staples in that big Chevrolet off of turn 12. He works the short chute in front of the big grandstand here as they come to the final couple of corners. Zeroni takes a look on the inside, and Staples will shut the door. But the fastest car on the racetrack here might be Voter Bowman in car number 22 after fixing the problems he had yesterday that slowed him in the qualifying race. Into turn 11 and 12, it is still that turn 1, pardon me, Staples number 19, then 15 Zeroni, and then that number 22 of Voter Bowman as they work up into turn number 3.
Yeah, these two Mazdas are really going at it here. Again, they're 2 different classes. That doesn't matter. But you would think the little RX-7 might handle a little better, and Chevrolet would be stronger in the straightaways, but Ken's able to get through the corners so far and keep these little Mazdas at bay.
Well, all three of these cars up in the lead pack are GTP1 class machines, the big Chevrolet of Staples, and the lighter, more nimble handling RX-7s, Jack Zeroni, car number 15. But here comes Voter Bowman in car number 22, right there, parked right under the rear wing. And right now it looks like Bowman is trying to get around Zeroni's machine so he can go up there and challenge the race leader, Ken Staples. Running in fourth is the number 89 car. That is Peter Spencer. Fifth is Harold Schmidt. Sixth is Conroy Ganson. Then Dennis Bainbridge. Here's a challenge for the lead into turn 11, and Jack Zeroni has grabbed the lead. Zeroni with the lead. Here comes Voter Bowman. He'll put up alongside of Ken Staples. They're on the start-finish straightaway. Going into turn number 1, we've got a new leader. Bowman in car number 22, side by side with Staples through turn number 1, and Voter Bowman will move up into the number 2 spot. So they shuffle the running order as Staples gets drop kicked from first all the way down into third. So it is Jack Zeroni in that number 15 Mazda RX-7 leading. Voter Bowman out of Nanaimo, British Columbia, runs in second. Ken Staples, 19, out of Lac La Biche in the Chevrolet, is third. Peter Spencer, 89, fourth, and Harold Schmidt in the Porsche, number 3, rounds out the top 5.
Yeah, these cars are still staying fairly close in contact, but it is a long race. They are passing slower cars. I see Gary Cooper with the Alpha just being passed there by the leaders. This is when it gets very tricky. If you come up to slower cars, if you catch them in the corner, you may be at a disadvantage to somebody who catches the slower car in the straight, because it's much easier to get by a car in the straight than through the corners.
Working lap number 4 of our GT Invitational, Eurasia Cup GT Invitational. There's your new leader, 15, Jack Zeroni, as he works up through turns 13 and 14. The driver, Jack Zeroni, back across the line. Voter Bowman in second. Ken Staples is third. Then Peter Spencer in car number 89, fourth. And then the 3 car of Harold Schmidt a little bit further back in fifth. Here is the battle going on for that second place position as they move around one of the slower cars there. There's the blue flag being displayed. I believe that's a GTP4 class car that has already been lapped now by Zeroni in car number 15. Bowman continues to run second in the 22. 19 Staples is third. Peter Spencer, car 89. That's one of the Eurasia Automotive sponsored cars. Then Harold Schmidt, car number 3, in fifth. Sixth is Dennis Bainbridge in the Fusion, the Fast Gas Plus sponsored car. Then it is Conroy Ganson in car number 30 in seventh. 24. That is Dave Cormier in 8th. 9th is Bruce Willocks, and Dennis Gorick in the Corvette rounds out the top 10.
Yeah, Conroy Ganson, who set a quick time this morning in practice, has dropped back position. That's car number 30. That's a surprise to me. But Zeroni is just going through those crowds. As long as you catch them on the straightaway, you're fine. You catch them in the corner, and you could have trouble.
Up on the big screen, we look at the front-running Mazda RX-7 of Jack Zeroni. Back into turn number 1. The best lap here for Zeroni has been 1:24.3. The best lap of the race, fastest lap of the race, belongs to that number 22 car of Voter Bowman, who is in the number 2 spot. Then Ken Staples, 19 and third. Peter Spencer, fourth. And still the 3, that orange Porsche of Harold Schmidt, rounds out the top 5. David?
Yeah. So we have a Vancouver driver, Jack Zeroni, there in car number 15, showing the way. Yesterday, the qualifying was done with a practice race. Ken Staples was able to win that one, keep it in Alberta, but so far it's looking like we got BC cars in first and second.
So it is the Mazda RX-7s of Jack Zeroni and Voter Bowman, both from British Columbia, running 1-2. Ken Staples in that Chevrolet back there in third. Things were very close earlier, and now starting to string out just a little bit. Then it is the 89 car of Spencer. Peter Spencer out of Edmonton in the Porsche in fourth. Harold Schmidt, car number 3, also out of Edmonton, running in fifth. And then the 6th belongs to number 1, Dennis Bainbridge in the Fusion FRC K20. That is being powered by a Honda Civic SI motor. And of course, just picking up the sponsorship from Fast Gas Plus this week. And he continues to run in 6th. Then it is the 30 car of Conroy Gadsden out of Edmonton in 7th. Bruce Willock's car number 6, also out of Edmonton in the Nissan, and a change there. I believe Gadsden may have moved up. And then it is Trent Oster, car 27 in 9th. And still rounding out the top 10 is Dennis Gorak in the Corvette. But up on the big screen, we look at that GTP 122 car of Voter Bowman. He does hold the fastest lap of the race, but in the last couple of laps, I think he may have got hung up with some of the slower cars. That has allowed Jack Zeroni to open up a good 30 to 40 car lengths as the race leader. Zeroni in car 15 works back into turn 10.
Yeah, Jack Ondrak, who had trouble yesterday, had a fire in his distributor before he couldn't get on the track, started in about 20th spot. He's moved up to 13th. That's car number 5. So keep an eye on Jack. Jack races in Alberta in North America, actually, in the summer, but races in New Zealand, and at that time he could golf also at the same time.
Well, there's the car of Bill O'Kell, the MGB. He's back in 19th, running a minute 33.597 has been his best lap. I think he's right up there in terms of the GTP3 runners. But right now, Zeroni putting lap number 7 up on the board. Voter Bowman in the number 2 spot from that high angle camera shot. You can see the interval between the two drivers. And Bowman looks as though he's starting to pick back up and cut into that lead of Jack Zeroni in car number 15. The 2 RX-7s continue to run 1-2. Oh, and there's problems for the 24 of Dave Cormier. So Cormier had a pretty good run in qualifying, but in that 24 car. And right now he is on pit road, and it looks like he is out of the running here this afternoon. Up front, Jack Zeroni, car number 15, continues to lead it here on lap 8. Voter Bowman still about 4 or 5 seconds adrift in second. Ken Staples, the pole sitter, running in third, 89. Peter Spencer out of Edmonton in the Porsche is 4th, and then Harold Schmidt in a Porsche 911, that orange car, runs in 5th.
Well, the first 4 cars actually staying, or 5 cars staying right together, have some pit action there. Car number 43, that's Joe Branco. That's the one who blew the clutch this morning. So I don't know, further problems for Joe. That's too bad.
And also the number 1 car of Dennis Bainbridge is on pit road. The FRC Fusion Honda-powered car with the Fast Gas Plus sponsorship. So it looks like they've got some kind of a mechanical problem. They're looking at the rear of that car of Dennis Bainbridge, who had worked his way up into 7th. They have got 6th there for a while, but he is on pit road along with the 43 car of Joe Branco. So Branco looks like he is out of the running here. Checking that margin up front, there's Bill O'Kell in car number 7. He has been lapped. So the pace up front, it is just 17 cars now running on the lead lap. And in fact, the number 12 car here of Dominic Knight out of Stony Plain in the Honda Civic, he has been lapped as well. So we've got just 16 cars running on the lead lap. Make that 15 as they've lapped the number 35 car there of Mats Hansen out of Calgary and another Mazda RX-7. So boy, have they set a torrid pace up front, lapping all the way up to that 15th place car. But there's your race leader, Jack Zeroni, off of turn 12. Voter Bowman has closed it up here. He's got 1 lapped car between himself and the race leader as he makes the pass there on the short chute. It'll be 9 laps completed this time by.
Yeah, they are really having trouble up there at the front now that they're in this crowd of slower cars. I don't envy them at all. Some of them, the gap between the first and second keeps changing because of the slower cars. Looks like from our view here that 15 is getting a little more open space there, so that'll give him some advantage.
Jack Zeroni, car number 15, the Mazda RX-7 driver out of Vancouver, continues to lead it here. Voter Bowman out of Nanaimo, British Columbia, runs in second. Then it is Lac La Biche's Ken Staples in third. The fourth place car, Edmonton's Conroy Ganson. That is a GTP 2 class car. So Ganson in car number 30, he's running fourth overall, but he's leading the GTP 2 class. And then rounding out the top five, car number 89 in the Porsche, Peter Spencer out of Edmonton. Into sixth is Bruce Willocks in car number 6. And then Harold Schmidt, who had been up in fifth earlier, has dropped to seventh. Brad Musat in car number 59, also out of Lac La Biche in a Ford Fusion, is running in eighth. Ninth is the 40 car of Dennis Gorick. And then car number 27, Trent Oster out of Edmonton in a GTP2 Mazda RX-7 is back there in the 10th place spot. Things starting to tighten up at the front as these two drivers from British Columbia go at it. Up on the big screen, you can see the margin as they complete lap number 10. It is down to less than a couple of seconds. Your race leader, Jack Zeroni, followed by that 22 car of Voder Bowman. Remember last year here, Voder Bowman, after winning the qualifying race, did a whole bunch of donuts on the front straightaway. The officials disqualified him for the rest of the weekend. So he came back here this year looking for a little bit of revenge, and he's going to try to get it here on Zeroni, number 15. They continue to 1-1-2. Ken Staples, number 19, the pole sitter, still back there in third.
Conroy Ganson is the one that set the quick time this morning after he finished yesterday actually in 8th spot and actually only had 2 gears left in his transmission when he finished. Got it going really well. He has moved up considerably. He got by Peter Spencer in car number 89. So that car number 30 is probably one to keep an eye on, but he now has to try to get by Ken Staples.
Jack Ondrak in car number 5 up into the 12th place position. And I believe, was that Ondrak who just got lapped there in that corner? Didn't quite get a look at the car. But very shortly now, Jack Zeroni in car 15 and Voder Bowman first and second. Bowman locking the tires up, breaking into that turn as they come on the start-finish straightaway and put lap number 11 up on the board. It's just a couple of seconds separating these two front-running Mazdas. Staples, number 19, still third. Fourth is the 30 car of Conroy Ganson. Then 89, Peter Spencer back in the 5th place spot. Bruce Willocks, car number 6, is 6th. The 3 car, that orange Porsche 911 of Harold Schmidt, is 7th. Brad Musat, 59, is 8th. Dennis Gorick runs 9th. Trent Oster, car number 27, is 10th. Let's take you a little bit further back. Dan Worley out of Edmonton in a GTP3 Porsche is in 11th. Jack Ondrak, car number 5, is 12th. Then the 73 car of Greg Latomsky out of Edmonton runs in 13th. 14th is the 8 car of Michael Stevenson out of Edmonton. That's a GTP2 class Porsche. And then back in 15th is the 35 car of Mats Hansen out of Calgary, a GTP4 class car. Hansen might be leading that GTP4 class here as we look at Voder Bowman continuing to put the pressure on Jack Zeroni in car number 15. They're off at turn 12, headed for 13, and there you can see up on the big screen things starting to tighten up at the front of the field.
Mats Hansen, you mentioned there, is a very young driver. Just started racing a year or two ago. Actually was the winner of the big RX-7 class in the Western Canada Motorsport Association events, which meant that he raced in Edmonton, Calgary, and Winnipeg last year.
Cars working up through the turns 2 and 3 areas. Zeroni has gotten around a couple more cars. He's got 2 lap cars between himself and the second place car here of 22, Voder Bowman out of Nanaimo, and now coming up on that 5 car of Jack Ondrak. So they have lapped up to 13th. This is Jack Ondrak here in car number 5, and he is not allowing 15 Zeroni to get by. Jack, of course, trying to hold on to that 12th place spot. Zeroni is now able to get by on the short chute. Oh, here comes Jack Ondrak. He's just going to take it right back. So Jack, fresh off a winter in New Zealand where he was racing, now they'll split a slower car into the turn, and Zeroni will finally able to get around. So just right now, 11 cars running on the lead lap, but I think that may have allowed Voder Bowman to close up just a little bit. We're working lap number 13. It's been all green flag racing so far, but Voter Bowman has dropped back. I'm not sure if he's having a problem with that race car or not. Jack Zeroni well out in front as he hits the stripe to complete lap number 13.
Yeah, Walter Bowman probably didn't get the advantages when he caught some slower cars, so you lose that gap that you had there trying to get by, and now now he's got Jack Ondrak to contend with, and Jack's not going to give in easy.
Number of cars out of the running here, including that number 1 of Dennis Bainbridge. Also the 24 of Dave Cormier is on the sidelines as well. Jack Zeroni, Voter Bowman, Ken Staples still in third. Ganson 30 is fourth, and Peter Spencer, car number 89, continues to round out the top 5. As we look at Voter Bowman now, he's coming up on that Porsche of Jack Ondrak in car number 5. Looks as though Jack made a switch in cars. He was originally listed on an Acura, but has gone to a Porsche here on the inside. Here comes Voter Bowman. Will finally be able to get around the 12th place car here at the moment. Jack Ondrak in that white number 5 Porsche as they work back into turn number 11. Ondrak looked as though he was going to try to stuff him there on the inside. Decided against it. Up front, it continues to be that number 15 car of Jack Zeroni in the Mazda RX-7. The Bodo Motors, Aquashare, and Top Notch Painting Services machine. There is the 15 car that is led here from, I believe, about lap number 3, where he's able to get around Ken Staples. And right now, looking at one of the cars into, is that car slowing?
I think we have got a yellow flag out.
One of the cars there, the number 81 car off the racetrack, Dan Worley. So it looks like Worley's got a problem. And we do go to a full course yellow. The Porsche pace car is going to pick up the field. And now this will be a big boost for Voter Bowman, who had dropped about 5 or 6 seconds back. So we are under the full course yellow here at the City Center Airport as we come up on 5 minutes to 1 o'clock. So still about 35 minutes of racing still to go. Working lap number 15. And it is Jack Zeroni in car number 15, your leader, Voter Bowman. Then the 19 of Ken Staples. Haven't seen a whole lot of Staples since the early laps of this one when he led, but just couldn't hold off these two Mazda RX-7s. We're going to have the lap car of Jack Ondrak sitting third in the order. And then we've got the 52 car there of Mike Horner. He is a lap down and waiting. There's Ken Staples, car number 19. He's behind several lap cars in that third place spot. There's Bill O'Kell in that MGB, and then the 89 car of Peter Spencer, the Porsche 911. So pace car out on the racetrack. We're under a full course yellow in the Eurasia Cup GT Invitational. The 15 car of Jack Zeroni out of Vancouver, British Columbia, continues to pace the field.
The Northern Alberta Sports Car Club has been involved in racing in Alberta for at least 50 years. First ever pavement race they had was on the runways of the Edmonton, what is now the Edmonton International Airport. Of course, this was long before it opened, or a year at least before it opened. That was an interesting event, and you're looking at Jack Ondrak was a competitor at that event, and he's still out here pushing that car.
Of course, we'd like to welcome to the racetrack. I know he's up there in the grandstand watching the action here today. Mike Vonderberg, the original founder of Eurasia Automotive, started that business here in Edmonton in 1982. In 2004, Paul Conquest took over. And looks like they're got to do a bit of sweep up there. I think that's maybe where we had that incident involving one of the cars. So the corner workers out here, the cleanup crew, getting the racetrack back into shape. We're still under that full course yellow. There you see the flagger stand. So the pace car sits out single file. And this will be an interesting restart to see whether Voter Bowman tries to spring one on Jack Zeroni. And looked as though Zeroni was getting through the lap traffic a whole lot better than Voter Bowman, who got hung up there a bunch of times. Also looking at that orange Porsche number 3 that is being shown 6th in the order. Harold Schmidt, who has raced here many, many times. The GTP1 Northwest Truck and Mack Aftermarket Specialist Porsche 911. As we look at the rest of the field coming through here behind the pace cars. So 14 laps go up on the board.